What's up guys, ATCG here, welcome back to Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck of the Day. Today we're profiling Satellarknight, an old style control deck, very old school, but it's still a very interesting deck to have because like with the release of Exton from the ban list, it got a little bit more go second power, and with the Impermanence you have a new trap that can help like for going first and going second. So it has a couple additions from the old times, and we still can't forget about Playmat because it's a card that got added a bit later after the deck got released that gave this deck some more power because you can now summon your big monsters with 2 monsters instead of 3. So here's the deck. Play 3 Deneb, of course, she's the searcher of the deck, you want to start with her every game. 3 Altair, the wolf park of the deck, gets you your monsters back from the grave. 3 Anunk, she gives you 1 monster in the graveyard so you can bring it back later with Vega. Because you can summon with 1 from your hand and use Altair to summon 1 from the grave, you get the Neb or you get another Altair, and you keep repeating the same loop over and over, the standard Satellarknight stuff. And you need to run a lot of hard arms this deck. I play 3 Ass, 2 Ogre, and I also have 3 Impermanence, which also later in the traps. I think this deck's biggest weakness is going second because it doesn't have a way to deal with the big monsters. It's kind of like Tricksters, but Tricksters have a way to push for game with cards like Eater of Millions. Well, this deck doesn't have the comfort of playing cards like that in the main deck. 2 Skybridge, this gives you consistency because if you draw one of the bad ones, like Altair or Vega during the first turn, you can tag it out, get out your Deneb and get a search, so it gives you the one you need. 3 Desires, you only need 1 of each monster because you keep repeating the same loop over and over again, so you don't really mind using Desires. The only thing that you would have problems with is banishing all 3 Deneb, but this won't happen very often. 3 Duality, you don't really need to special summon during the first turn. There are some cards that do that, but you prefer having the extra consistency than having a special summon during the first turn. Rhoda and Reborn for some extra consistent power cards. And the traps is what makes this deck the control deck that it is. It has its own Solemn Judgment with Alpha. You tribute a Satellarknight, negate anything, and draw a card. Very powerful counter trap, and it's searchable with Deneb. Actually, I don't think it was searchable. I can't really remember. I think she added a monster. I haven't played this deck for quite a while. 3 Call of the Haunted gets you back all the monsters. This is why you only need 1, because with Call of the Haunted you can bring back Altair, get Deneb. Deneb will get you another Altair, make an Xyz or a Link, then you summon during your turn the Altair and you get another Deneb and you can make another Xyz. It's very important to use this during your opponent's draw phase to refresh the effects of your Satellarknights because they're all once per turn, so you can make the most value out of Altair. Full Solemn Brigade. Life points don't really matter in this deck, you just have to make sure that your opponent doesn't play, so you can maybe OTK them with a Boros Sword during the next turn. And 3 Impermanence. The addition of this card makes this deck very powerful because it's an extra trap that you can use it as a disruption during your first turn, or going second you can use it, can act as a hand trap, so you really need a card like that in this deck. And it's very safe, it's a safe one because like with Midbreaker going to 1, your opponent can't negate this, they can't use like Call by the Grave on this card. For the extra deck, play 1 Battlemires with 2 Trivere, Deltaros, and Diamond. The standard, I think, Battlemires helps you get to Trigger faster. Deltaros here because it specials from the deck and it can pop cards. And this card, you kind of run 1 because it's an auto win against some decks. Not a lot of decks nowadays, but it can still give you some games against some random decks, I guess, so it's not bad to have 1 in your extra deck. Tsukuyomi to refresh your hand. With this deck, when you have one monster in your hand, you want to dig for some trap cards, especially Call of the Haunted and Alpha. That's why you run this. Castel is a card that can deal with the bigger monsters, because this deck has problems dealing with it. Dweller is an auto-win against like Dangers, Gokis, and other decks that rely on the grave. Exciton is the addition that this deck needed the most, because going second, like when your opponent has a full board, you kind of struggle against. But if you can make Exciton go through, maybe you can bait a trap card with something else and then go for Exciton and pretty much nuke your opponent's field. Isolde, you don't run any equips in this deck to summon from the deck, you don't want her for that. If you summon like Vega and you summon a Nunk during the first turn, you send your Deneb, you can make this, get an Altair, and maybe you can, next turn you can do the right play and start pushing for a game, because you don't have the search if you can't get to Deneb, but this is an extra way to get to the Altair. And some generics. you rarely make these. These two are the ones you make the most. Scaldred gives you draw power, it helps you dig for the traps you need to control another turn because it's a very slow-paced deck. You will very rarely OTK. You can OTK with Boros Sword if you end phase for a Vega, Altair, and then the Neb, then maybe next turn you can make a Boros Sword because you won't be under the restriction of Altair. So Boros Sword can help you with that, but you don't really need it because you want to slow play during the entire duel and get grinding more advantage. This is where Scaldred helps because you need a lot of monsters and you get another trap, and it special summons Altair from the hand, so you don't even have to use your normal summon to get another monster back from the grave. So yeah, that's a deck. It feels very similar to an Altergeist deck, like Altergeist obviously better, but this deck has its own fun. It's a very old, but one of the decks I enjoyed playing the most during the Dual Alliance format, so I wanted to revisit it and give it another try. So yeah, that's the deck. Thank you for watching. See you next time.